Welcome, my name is Barney Reese. I am the author of How Blessed You Are in God's Promises. I'm actually reading you this book. We are on chapter 50, part 2, Your Security. So let's get started and keep going on this great journey. It's amazing what I wrote sometimes. Now, here are some things you need to know. Remember that freak accident you had just been through? You are technically supposed to be dead. You're still breathing. Maybe that car was supposed to hit you, but somehow you were able to get out of the way at the last minute. When I was 17 years old, I had to jump out of the way of a car at the parking lot or be run over. I had a book bag with my books from school, so I jumped to the curb just in the nick of time or did something help me. See, we have creative universes watching over us, and everything we do helping us to achieve this as we get older. A mountain climber had stated that at some point when he was hanging on a cliff and was exhausted, something helped him to make it to the top. They are things that we cannot explain, where people have survived odds that no one can explain, where they were supposed to be dead but are still alive against all odds, where the murderer was stalking you while you were on vacation, but some reason something spoke to him and he or she found another victim. When you do not have enough money to buy gas, pay rent, pay a doctor bill, buy a car, buy a home, lost job, never married, been single a long time, need a break in life, been hungry with child, no mother, no father, and etc. Somehow you will make it. No logical explanation yet. If you wake up, you will survive. If you're reading this book, you're realizing just how important you are to the creative universe. He has allowed you to live, to breathe, to move, to walk, to talk, to see or smell, to feel or hear, and to have emotions, and to be able to think for ourselves. We are able to invent, to write, to paint, to draw, to get stronger, to learn complex problems, to play video games, to watch TV and movies, to surf the net, to lift someone up, to cry, to get angry, to learn how to defend ourselves, and etc. Most of us will never make it to our potential. As I have said, the creative universe will wait until you act before he will step in to help you to find the desires of your heart. As the saying goes, I'm going to be whatever that is, but I do not know how or why, but I'm going to do it. Maybe it is to become a doctor, lawyer, director, writer, musician, singer, dancer, a wife or husband, a poet, an actor, a comedian, a teacher, a preacher, a more good human being, an athlete, a wrestler, a karate instructor, business owner, and the list can go on and on. The reason you are none of these things is you have yet to start to becoming these things, but nothing to do with why you cannot do this. It's because you have decided to not do this. I'm a firm believer that if you can dream it, it can end up being, as long as you're not trying to do something that does not exist and cannot exist. I guess this is why we like magic. The genie in the lamp, the leprechaun, the wizard, the good witch, and etc. It's a good process the way it should be. The instant gratification is it's not always the case. Sometimes we'll put it in life to bless them, to give them their dreams, or to wonder why one door closed and another one opened. The creative universe wants to give you the desires of your heart. Here is the question: what is that to you? What are you trying to accomplish? Where are you going with your life? What do you really want? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to achieve these dreams? Are you going to be the one that said, I could be a contender, but life happened. Life is what you make it. Life is what you make it. When the Creator gives you lemons, add some sugar and water and make it lemonade. If you are short and want to be tall to impress a girl, get some lifted shoes or find a talent that no one can do about but you. If you are homeless, find a job, get a home. If you are a drug addict, get clean and sober. Leave these so-called friends alone and ask Jesus to help you. You are a prostitute and want to change, then change. If you are a pimp and wish to change, then change. And the Creator of the universe Son to help you. His name is Jesus or Yeshua. If you have not given your life, suicide, stop. No matter how you think it is, there is life without that job, without that career, without that special someone, without that child. Although you are a prostitute, drug addict, pimp, porn star, actor, failed businessman, depressed, and etc., this book was written for you. All the broken, the unwanted, the needy, the poor, or the brokenhearted, the lost, the unwanted, and etc. Here is something that happened to me recently. I have worked for a company as a civil contractor for the Navy on the T-45 program as a plane captain on T-45 aircraft servicer. I have done this particular job for almost 20 years. I was the most qualified individual for the job. Why did I not get it? I've been working on a car business since my baby girl died of SID, sudden infant death syndrome, December 9, 2009. And I opened Reese Auto Sales Home at $200. I minus $200. I didn't even have it. I actually bought a course on how to be a car dealer from my home. Although I was in a lot of pain, I would make my little angel proud of her dear old dad. The fact of the matter, I was not very successful at the time. See, when I started, I did not have any credit. Therefore, my bond was $500 to $1,200, and later as much as $25 would just keep going up. I bought a Kia Altima LX for my first car, and what I found, it was expensive to fix. I needed a whole new wire harness, a window regulator, an AC compressor, body working, etc. I started to fix car, and so I went into the first shade true mechanic. I would call him the $50 man, because it really cost me $50 or more to fix everything he did. I later went to a shop and met a real mechanic named Byron. He was able to put the wire harness on for about $300. I only paid $300 for the unit harness and an AC compressor. I'd be able to sell my first car, so I washed and detailed as best I could. I got ready to sell it. I had my sign in the front yard, and I got ready to sell my first car. I put it on Craigslist, and I would wait for the answer. And guess what? Not even one call. I did not get one bite on the sale of the 2004 Kia Altima LX. Even though I had the AC compressor replaced, wire harness, etc. Why did no one want the car? What had I done wrong? I thought, and how was I going to fix it? I really did not know, but I was definitely going to try. The rest I'm going to paraphrase. After all, this is about you realizing what the creative universe wants for us all. I eventually did sell a car. I usually sold that one to my mom. My brother, his girlfriend ended up to run into the back of it, my brother's truck, and I was sure it was totaled, so I took it back since my car had died from my mom to see if it was repairable, and for right at $2,000 it was replaced. I had a car to work to go to work again. I was happy that I was able to work, and I would eventually get my business off the ground. Unfortunately, it would take me many more years for that to happen. I would just keep trying. After my wife finally died, her uncle Wendell and JJ, we later lost our baby girl December 9, 2007 to SIDS, and my wife's mother came to stay with her for a while. But after I found checks written on me for prescribed medications, and I told her to get out of the middle of the night, I remember Joanne coming to the home and catching Kathy with all kinds of prescribed medication, grabbing her Adam, and saying, you will not get this one, Kathy, fleeing from the home. I really had no way of knowing just how bad it was going to be. I tried everything to help my wife. We tried Suboxone treatment, many institutions for drug and alcohol him, but in the end, she was preparing to die and was asking God to take her. I was at my end's rope, and I really did not understand why the creative universe had done this to my family. See, my wife had wrecked my truck. She was drinking whenever she could. I had to keep her Loratab, Soma, Xanax, and other medications locked up so her dysfunctional family would not borrow her medicine. After all the rehabs and treatments, I think I truly saw my wife, the woman that I loved when I was 17, only a few times. She would always go back to her prescribed medication, and she would buy beer whenever she could. It did not matter that she was found on the bridge, almost died just by my mom, by home. It didn't matter that I was given a choice to get her some help or go to prison, for she had pills in a bottle that did not have prescriptions, and that her own mother and her father-in-law dropped her off, and she had lost so much weight they did not realize it was a human being. It did not matter. We went to church and prayed to the Lord above for miracles. I just knew she would get better. But in the end, I cried out to the Lord, why did you pick up me, such a screwed up individual? Stephanie was taken to the emergency room, and she was constipated. I was told to get her some stool softener and milk, magnesia, so she could go to the bathroom. I did what I was told. And Stephanie called her mom, who was a restaurant nurse for many years, to help. Kathy tried to give her an enema. It was too late. My wife's colon had ruptured. She went to Rush Hour since Anderson had refused to treat her for constipation. I thought, like always, she would be all right and just be in the hospital just a little while. After all, I had seen her in a car wreck, trailer followed on her head, having a watch then operate in the emergency room, going to the doctor after doctor, pouring out cans of beer in the yard, guarding her medicine, furnishing her cigarettes and coke, make sure she had all prescribed medication. It was just another routine. I thought I went to work, and her mother told me Stephanie is very sick and she's in a coma. I went a few days after that. She woke up. The first thing Kathy asked, how long was I out? I said 3 days. Stephanie was awake. Everything was going to be okay, so I spent a little time with her and later went to work. I worked nights, which was 2 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. I could see her tomorrow. The operation is to repair her Corolla was fixed. My Stephanie would be okay. I thought I could not sleep that night. And Stephanie had been moved to intensive care unit the other day because colon patch was fixed. I had a phone call that your wife had complications and that she quit believing, but the doctor was able to stabilize her, but she's in a coma. And I'll stop there.